Hi, I'm Ishwak Singh, and you're watching me on Spotlight with Smriti. Working with Jaideep and everyone will vouch for it, all his co-actors. He's a great guy, great leader, and has lots of stories. This is your first two hero lead. This is your first with a big heroine. This is your first. उतने पैसों के साथ तो कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता था ना. Because I know Indian parents and no well-meaning Indian father, mother, sibling, friends would ever say कि हाँ जाओ actor बन जाओ. Anything she does is like it just she touches, turns, becomes gold.
Hello, Namaste, Adab, and welcome to a brand new episode of Spotlight. Today I have with me a very special guest. He is the ACP Ansari of Paatal Lok, aka Ishwak Singh. Hi, Ishwak. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, first of all, congratulations. Paatal Lok 2 has been receiving so much of love. How's the feeling?
Feeling's great. It's always amazing when your show or a film does well and does so well, gets love from, across the board, gets immense love, appreciation. And this one's really special because it's Paatal Lok. It's something that got me on the map, and it's season 2. So it was able to break the curse of season 2, which is, I think, it's a big achievement. One of the few shows that have really struck a chord. The second season.
Right, that's absolutely true. Second season's banana is not easy. There's so much of pressure, so much of expectation. Tell me, when the team was shooting it, was there a point जब लगा कि यार अच्छा खासा second season बन गया है, we have a winner on our hands?
Yeah, right from the start. Even when we, I think everyone, all the actors, directors, when we read it the first time, and how Sudeep sir has written it, it was just him and his writing team, of course, includes Tamal Sen, Abhishek Banerjee and Rahul Kanodia. So I think they did such a phenomenal job that we were all convinced that this is going to be special. And of course, when we started shooting it, how, Avinash and the entire direction team, they kind of started the vision that they had for the show, the vision that Sudeep had for the show, and how it started sort of to translate, to become a reality. It was, I think everyone got a sense that this will be a special show. You can never predict the outcome because, see, that's something, there's so many variants. It could be something as simple as timing, that not enough people are watching it. So, but the thing is that as long as the team is convinced that, we are doing something special and, you feel really proud of it, I think that itself is a victory.
Absolutely. From the first season to the second, was there anything that you felt कि ये बेहतर हो सकता है, या I can improvise as Imran Ansari, that you took care of in the second season?
No, it's pretty, I think the approach was, जितना मुझे लगता है सीजन 1 में जितनी उसकी ज़रूरत थी, उस तरह से उसे एक बड़ी बेसिक और I would say, I wasn't trying to do much with the character. Whatever was needed by the writer, as per the writing and how aligning with the director's vision, how the character came to me organically. I kind of stuck to that lane. I wasn't trying to do less or more. And the same thing was, that was the same thing route I took for season 2. So it was like a progression, a very natural, organic progression that came, quite naturally.
Okay. Season 2 में आप हाथी राम से आगे निकल गए. You became the ACP. लेकिन real life में he is a senior. So उनके साथ काम करते हुए, what were the things that you picked up?
No, you don't really pick up anything from other actor. I think it's like you kind of, what you get is with a great co-actor. I think it's the thing that you can, what happens is that in the moment when you're doing, a scene, for instance, there's a lot of give and take that happens because he's a master of his craft. and when two actors come prepared, then, as they say, magic happens. So it's working with a solid actor like him. It's always a pleasure, because then you kind of when you're doing a scene, things happen naturally, organically, as if you're in the moment, like I'm talking to you right now. So it's not planned, calculated. After that dialogue, I'm going to give a little more stress here, and I'm going to look there, and I look at you, and then you react like this. It's not a choreography. It's serious acting. So that is rare, but with someone like Jaideep, it happens.
Okay, tell me, Haryanvi humor is so much part of his character Hathiram. वो off screen भी ऐसे हैं?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, working with Jaideep is and everyone will vouch for it, all his co-actors. He's a great guy, great leader, and has lots of stories, loves telling stories, and keeps the set together. So off screen, on screen, it's been a pleasure.
Okay. One thing that I've also noticed about your roles is that you share a very good chemistry with your co-stars. Be it Rocket Boys with Jin Sarab or Paatal Lok, जिसमें you and Hathiram दोनों की जोड़ी इतनी कमाल है. क्या मेहनत लगती है to strike that chord, with your co-actor, to be that comfortable and be so relatable to the audience?
I think if you know your character, your dynamic with the other character, then it sort of things happen naturally, because then you're not trespassing any boundaries in terms of what there's a limitation of a character in terms of like, for instance, my in any setting, I'm kind of, my dynamic with my best friend would be very different from what I have with someone in a professional setting, or with a filmmaker, director, or a co-actor on set. So I think अगर आपको अपने character की in depth समझ हो, और उसका जो relation है सामने वाले दूसरे character के साथ, so I think that is something which I felt with both these actors and some of the good actors I've worked with, that understanding of that dynamic is there, and that probably translates on screen, and you see that kind of a give and take, and chemistry or a rapport.
Okay. Would you also say that intense roles is your forte, the genre in itself?
I've been very happy that I've been picked up for, because I thought no one will take me seriously. I love serious roles. It's but these are serious से ज़्यादा मुझे लगता है these are roles which resonate a certain reality of our society, and that is where filmmaking is progressing. Some people are still making the good old commercials, sticking to a certain sort of a formula-based filmmaking. Or if you talk about comedy genre or any other genre, I mean, I'm doing that too. But I think with what new age filmmakers tend to do, I mean, I've worked more with new age filmmakers. I would say these are all intense, because they have a shade of emotion. They have a range of emotions. All the stuff that I've done. Paatal Lok, of course, the setting is crime thriller, so crime drama. So it's going to be a little grim. But उसमें भी light-hearted moments हैं. How we experience life. So I think it's got to do with the fact that I've been very lucky that I've worked with some great new age filmmakers like Avinash, Atul Sabharwal, Nikhil Advani and Abhay, and it's kind of who kind of think Nikhil sir is a master, veteran filmmaker, but he's kind of also someone who's doing a lot of cutting edge new age stuff. So I've been fortunate that way, and this is the filmmaking that these guys believe in. So someone like me is getting work in today's time, and it is the filmmaker's vision. It's not an actor doesn't choose a genre. The genre and the filmmaker chooses that I'm going to cast this guy. It just so happens that most of the work is of this type.
Right. One of your projects that really stands out in your body of work is Berlin. Your character was quite challenging. Tell me, how did you approach that? What was the process of acing a character like that, so complex?
I mean, he was deaf, and that's, if you talk about complexity, he's deaf, and that's challenging. At the same, while he's complex, at the same time, if you stay with the script for too long, and you understand that it's कि यार ये तो कहीं ना कहीं मेरी कहानी है या मेरे टाइम की कहानी है. I know this, what this is. You know, that's the thing about a good writing, and I give a lot of credit to Atul for that. Atul Sabharwal, the writer director. So he, of course, it was about shaping the character. So I guess we kind of collaborated in the sense that he kind of drew a roadmap and said that, you know, focus on sign language and let's dive deep into the script and acting thing later. So, because I mean, I lost my biggest tool. I didn't have my voice. I had to learn a new way of communicating, which was sign language. So a lot of the effort went into that. But learning that, you know, staying with the community, meeting people from the community, you know, that thing of seeing them from a lens that they are us and them. Once I kind of bridged that gap of, you know, between hearing and deaf, and found the commonality of, you know, what was common between, you know, started having human conversations with them, real conversations with them. I think I could also understand in that whole process of that, what is it that a deaf man today, you know, what is the crisis in a deaf man's life in India and at that period. So, you know, what was it back then? And a person with that ability or disability, and they take pride in their sign language, so I won't call it a disability. They have heightened other senses which are heightened. So I mean, ये सारी चीजें मतलब I started understanding as I spent time with the script, with those people, and yeah, I mean it was a long drawn process, but I think because I believed in the story, because I believed in Atul's vision, and the you know, my intuition that if I take this route, learn sign language, interact with these people, and kind of find the thing that I can relate to in the script, you know, personally, at a very human level. I knew that it will fall in place, and that I think, fortunately, that happened.
Right. Beautiful. While people are still raving about Paatal Lok 2, there is another avatar of you that is going viral on the internet right now. The song Palki mein hoke sawar chali re.
Classic.
Tell us about that. How was the experience? You are dancing, you are romancing in the song.
I started out as a dancer, so it's not a...
Okay.
I mean, while I haven't got an opportunity to shake a leg in front of the camera in any of the films, but yeah, I hope that happens soon, because I used to be, at one time, it was my forte.
Okay.
So it was fun. It's always like I've been a Bollywood buff, and that song is from the iconic film Khalnayak. It's my first music video, so I wasn't sure, you know, what to expect. When I went to set, it was so vibrant and beautiful, and the song is so peppy that it grew on me, and I was just at the end of it having fun. It was like a party for me.
Okay. Is that your love song for Madhuri Dixit? I'm sure you're a fan. Everybody is a Madhuri Dixit fan.
Who's not? It's like well, I mean, with her, it's like anything she does is like, she touches, turns, you know, becomes gold, and she's like one of those, you know, higher mortals who you can't, you know, you end up falling in love with whatever they do. So yeah, but this is one of the iconic songs.
Okay. Tell me, Ishwak, you started in theatre before you ventured into movies, and finally then you dabbled with OTT, and I feel OTT is the one that gave you the recognition that was long pending. Do you also feel that?
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of actors working in the television industry have always had this gripe that they get slotted. कितना भी अच्छा काम कर ले, लेकिन there's always a tag attached to them कि ये TV actor है. Now that you are doing so many projects on OTT, do you find that happening with you?
Actually, OTT is, I think, the streaming platforms, but you know, there's a bit of a difference. I think streaming platforms operate there's a very thin line between theatrical streaming, because there's a natural I think, sink there. A lot of films streaming on OTT will go to, uh, come from theaters. And sometimes when you're making a film, you're not sure. It's more of a market, a producer's call and a production call, like where will this film go. It's not so much about, like, if you talk about web shows, that's another thing. But the films that I've done, these could have been theatrical releases if the filmmakers believed in it, if the market, dynamics, if the time supported it. It's not like a. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not an apple to apple comparison, when you compare TV shows with OTT, because OTT is got films, it's got shows, and shows are the, I would say, flavor of the season. It's something that's happening internationally. We all, there's a lot of cutting edge work happening there, and I think, the work that you do here gets you recognition faster, and filmmakers who are making bigger theatricals reach out to people, actors who are, more active in the OTT space. And I mean, it's again, it's a very thin line. There's a lot of film actors who are doing web shows and films that are only, going to go directly to a streamer. So it's very fluid. It's a very, I would say, it's not there's no line in the sand between, OTT and films that are going for theatricals.
I was reading one of your interviews where you said that nothing has changed for you because the magnitude of success hasn't registered as yet for you. Is there a conscious effort to, not really acknowledge the success that surrounds you?
I guess I keep myself so busy that I don't have time to kick back and relax and think about the accolades and, the appreciation so much. But also I've been doing this for some time, so, it's come with time. So I guess that also keeps a person grounded, and you don't think that you've done something phenomenal. I would wish to believe that even if I, do bigger things, I would like to be in this, be in this headspace. Because I think it's, that's my basic function, if I do something, it has to be good, it has to work, it has to strike a chord. That's the purpose of making a movie. I mean, it's just that unfortunately, a lot of films don't cut it, which is not the normal thing. This is normal, to kind of do stuff for people to love it. That's why you're in the showbiz, that's why you're in the movie business or, film industry, because you tell stories that are compelling and then that kind of resonate with audiences, and they, and then this is just a byproduct. It's like it's a dividend, the kind of love that you get. The first thing is that the story has to strike a chord. People should feel, हाँ यार ये हमारी कहानी है, इसके they need to root for the characters and all of that. So I also see it as something that is like a basic function of, an actor and a movie.
Okay. Are you aware of the fact that your name has now become synonymous to good content? There's a belief that अगर इश्वाक सिंह है इस प्रोजेक्ट में तो ये देखने लायक होगी.
Oh wow, that's sweet. No, I wasn't.
Okay. Now that you are, do you think that puts a pressure on an actor because you have so much more responsibility?
There's always, responsibility on your shoulders that of, different kinds of responsibilities. The first thing is that the character that you're portraying, even if it's fiction, not a biopic, there's someone who's, you're kind of representing, even if it's like a comedy, I'd say, even if it's like an over the top, there is a person out there who you kind of representing. There's always a responsibility to kind of, even if it's frivolous, even if it's fun, to kind of put him out there, with some sort of thought given to it, some sensitivity and authenticity. So that's the biggest responsibility that probably the only responsibility that I, get, I wouldn't say burdened with, but I'm aware of.
Hmm.
That's actually my first and last responsibility. The other things of the thing getting working, that's the producer's responsibility. You know, he needs to. I just need to go out there and do a good job for it to really be seen. There are other departments who kind of need to look after it. I mean, sure enough, if there's the things I can do to kind of, if I'm wanted, you know, as an actor, you know, you want to be out there, promote, but again, you're following a certain suit, following, you know, someone's cue to do the other things. In terms of picking work, I think that's just about sensibility. You know, what kind of strikes a chord with you. You know, if I believe in a certain content, if I think there's a certain kind of writing that, you know, I have a sort of a predilection for, that I like, and जिसमें कहीं ना कहीं एक इंसानियत होती है, you know, एक relatability होती है. I feel that I can give something to the character and character is going to give something back to me. Or I'm just going to have a great time, you know. It's like, because it kind of appeals to my my liking. So when it comes to selecting scripts, I just go with that instinct, you know. It's not like I'm not wearing myself down with any responsibility of that I'm kind of holding the flag bearer of high quality content or anything. It's just, you know, good storytelling.
Okay, great. Now I'd like you to go back in time a little and tell me, जिस moment you decided that, you know, मुझे ये करना है, मुझे acting करनी है theatre में, films में, and from that point to finally getting your first project, what was that journey like?
Every project seems like, at least the producers make me feel like, this is my first project, this is your first lead, this is your first 2-hero lead, this is your first with a big heroine, this is your first. Good way to negotiate with an actor, no?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, when I got that feeling, I still feel like every project seems like, wow, this is real and it's happening, because I'm so in love with what I do, and I love the fact that when I get a new script which I like, which I want to do, it's like, you know, so you've taken a child to Wonderland or Disneyland, Disney World, and it's like, you know, he's just feel like I'm on cloud 9. So every new possibility gets me excited, and it was for me, I guess, even when I got like a bit-sized role, like a 30-second role, I had that excitement. I think the major turning point has to be Paatal Lok, because it was the first real serious part in a production that I really believed in. I was collaborating with makers I really wanted to work with. Great set of co-actors. I knew it is, you know, the story of our times, and it was a part that was where I knew I could, you know, all these years, you know, whatever I've learned, because it had been almost like, it had been 8 years from I had been sort of at it, working and doing theatre, doing bit-sized roles in movies, and I was like, this is going to be my litmus test. I'll be able to sort of, I have the canvas, so I can, you know, people, if I do a good job, people will finally be aware of my skill set. It's very frustrating for an actor to, or any artist, you know, to realize that the world doesn't know what your voice is. You know, what is it that you represent? You as a journalist, you know, you'd have a voice, an authentic voice that you know is only yours, and that's what makes you different from any other journalist. And similarly, I think for me it was very frustrating that, you know, that's not happening. While that enjoyment of being on a film set, working with directors was there, but I didn't have the length to show the, you know, the acting chops or my skill set. which I think changed with Paatal Lok.
Okay. What was the first paycheck that you ever got for an acting job?
Not gonna tell you. It's so personal, and I mean it's sacrosanct for me, and I would like to keep it with me.
Okay, then would you like to reveal what you did with that money that you got, the first pay ever?
उतने पैसों के साथ तो कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता था ना. उसको तो बस you could just keep it like as a souvenir.
Okay, all right. Tell me, घर पे क्या माहौल था when you decided that you wanted to become an actor? What was the reaction of the family?
This is my advice to anyone who wants to take the plunge, because I know Indian parents and no well-meaning Indian father, mother, sibling, friends would ever say कि हाँ जाओ actor बन जाओ. It's a tough road to hoe. So my parents were very supportive, but yeah, they were concerned. उनको फिक्र थी. So I was very realistic about it. I was working as an architect. I was out of college. So I didn't like drop my job. I found a way to. I was willing to. I was ready to leave it. I wanted to study acting, but I fortunately found this great man, Mr. Arvind Gaur, who's my mentor, and he, his theatre group, which is one of the most prolific theatre groups in the country, called Asmita, very well known in the Hindi heartland and all over the country actually. So I met him, and theatre groups mostly do rehearsals in the evening, so I could continue with my work and do that. Because while that desire was there, my first milestone was like, I want to prove to myself that I deserve it. Because sometimes we all desire the most beautiful, like I desire the most beautiful woman in the world, but do I deserve her? It's like that. Or you desire the most expensive house in the city. So on and so forth. So I think it's for anyone who wants to take the first few steps. And for me back then, this realization happened that if I deserve it, I need to take this one step at a time. Started working with them, did a weekend workshop, did a production that got recognized. I was taken in the main group. I worked with them. Finally, when I was doing the first, it had been over a year that I started doing theatre, and that's when I started telling people that I'm doing this. And my parents were the first one, saw my first production, and they really liked it, and they thought, this guy's like, instead of going out blowing out money, in clubs and wasting time, he's doing something useful in his spare time, which is after hours, after office hours. So I think they liked the way what I was doing with my life, I guess, more than anything else. It wasn't about acting. It's about utilizing how I was utilizing my time, and not kind of, wasting even a single minute. It's uncommon for, I think, and I'm grateful that I had that realization for someone right out of college to kind of drop the, because I used to love going out, I used to love partying, but to kind of drop that life and just, focus my energies in a place like this, which is almost like a, if you go to any traditional theatre group, it almost works like एक बड़ा ही गुरुकुल वाला vibe होता है वहाँ पे, almost ascetic, very sacred. So I think it really gave me a lot, and that's how it started, and it just progressed from there. One thing led to another. 3 years down the line, I was doing a play with Bhatt Saab. He said some good things. Some journalists started writing about my plays, performances, got a part in a movie. So it was very gradual.
Okay.
But again, these things take time. I was willing to, because I was like, I'm not doing this for a year or two. This is my life mission. I want to do this, and I don't care how long it takes. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I am only going to do this, and I want to do it the traditional way. I want to learn the craft. I want to learn it on stage, like they used to do in the good old days. So it was about my approach, I think, which they liked, and they always encouraged me at every step.
Thank you so much, Ishwak, for having this conversation with us.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the best, and wish to see more and more of you on the screen.
Thank you.
Thanks.